All right, so this is just an update on the knife I'm making. And so just to recap, I'm trying to make a knife that's like impervious to the elements. I mean, it's not going to be impervious to the sun because the sun will mess up the G10 that I'm eventually going to put on the handle. But I should be able to bury it, or put it in salt water and it'll be fine, like indefinitely, supposedly. So I just got it back from heat treat, and I've never done this before. And I usually just grind it down with the machine, and then grind it by hand when it's like super close. But I haven't used the machine at all, like right from once I got it from heat treat. So when you do have something already heat treated, heat afterwards is basically your not your enemy. It's just you don't want to put heat on your blade that much afterwards, because it can mess up the heat treatment on it. So especially the tip. If you see the tip, I'm making this pretty pointy, and the tip on this heats up like insanely fast. So I decided just to try doing it just by hand, and I'm going to show you how I do it by hand to see if just in case it helps anybody. So one tip that probably some people don't know is just this thing's super dirty. So just to begin with, this is just like a eye contact solution bottle. So if you have a bottle that's that has like a little spout, you can basically take off the tip. So this is how it normally goes. See, and then you can take off the tip and just fill it with water and just use it. And I'll be using it right now too. So first of all, I like to use this is kind of different from before. If you've seen any of my other videos, I found out if you use sandpaper that's what do you call it, non-slip, that has a no slip grip in the back, this works a lot easier. So no slip grip sandpaper, and then just a flat surface. I have this piece of steel that's stainless steel, and then you want it raised a little bit above wherever you're working at, and then you just have to sit there and do it for hours. So okay, so I'll just show you real quick. And let's see. So first, just to help the paper stick, so I put water on the steel itself. And then I use water too, as just so it lasts a little bit longer. The sandpaper does. And usually what I do is I'll do both sides, but usually what I do is I grind one side, and then I flip over to the other side when I use a different piece of sheet. But for this, I'll do both sides, and I'm just gonna do it just to show you. I'm not gonna do it like for as long as I normally would. So basically, you just do this, and you can tell when you're hitting the. I don't know how well this is gonna come out in the video, but you can tell when you're hitting the edge. So like, let's say, okay, you're grinding, you're sanding it. And if you go too much, you'll hear it. Watch, I'll show you. So normal, right? Normal. And then if I go too forward, hear that? That sound. Here's normal. And here's the sound. That tells you you're basically hitting your edge. So, and you'll feel it too. So you'll feel like it's gliding nice and fine. And then when you turn it too much and you hit that edge, you'll know. So what you do is you can just, it doesn't matter if you turn it, hit that edge a little bit, and then back away from it. That's one way of doing it, to keep like an angle that you want. And the other way of doing it is look at the shadow in the back too. So it's at that angle where you're at. Where you're at, it's hard to tell, but if you see the shadow in the back, if you try to keep that normal, then you're pretty good. You can try to keep an angle just by looking at the back. And if you're sitting down, you can look at the back easier. It's easier to do that. But if you're standing up, you can put a lot more pressure on top of your blade on your sandpaper. So besides all that, anything that you do by hand, like let's say what I'm doing right now, I mean in the way I'm doing it right now, it's going to come out convex. Basically, it's going to come out as a convex edge, and that's what I want for this one. So for this one, my last one, the kitchen knife was a flat grind. So I used the machine, but this one I wanted to do convex right from the get-go. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So I'm just going to grind it for a little bit, and hopefully it doesn't get too boring. And we'll see. Watch. And I try to use all the paper. So like this gets used up the most, like pretty quickly, and then the sides I like to use for the tip. And the non-slip actually works pretty good. So like you can tell I don't have anything on there that's holding the paper other than the bottom itself. And the other thing too is, see, when you start seeing stuff build up, just put water, and then you basically just squeegee it out of the way, and you'll have like a cleaner surface to work on then. So, and then also you can tell when the paper starts like wearing out, because you'll just feel like less resistant. You'll just feel like it's like gliding on top. So another tip. So for the tip, I didn't mean to do that. So for the tip is, if you want it nice and pointy, you have to basically make sure you're grinding it up. So if I just hit it like this, if I just grind it like this, sometimes what you get is you'll get a flat tip, and it'll be like flat and then an edge. So you'll have a tip that looks like this. So you have to go all the way to the tip, and in this case you wanna make sure you do feel that you hear the sound, and then you also feel that it's actually like hitting the edge. And when you do it, so on purpose, what I'm doing is I'm lifting it up way more on the tip than I am everywhere else. So if you see when I'm grinding it, I go like this, and then the tip, I lift it up. I want more thickness behind the tip. So I want it flatter here, and I want more thickness here. So I lift it up higher, so it's a wider angle. So it gives more strength to the tip, and then the tip to cut. It doesn't really need, for you to cut with the tip, it doesn't really need to be super thin. I mean, if it's super thin, it'll cut better, but not by much, and you lose a lot of strength. So I'll just do the other side. So basically, this is what I do for hours. And at this point, this is already sharp. So I did grind it down to almost where I want it. I have to take off the edges on the convex. So the convex edge looks like this. This is kind of how it looks like. I'm going to take a little bit off the shoulders. Using 400 grit. This is 400 grit. I was using 220 before. So what that's going to do is it's going to polish it a little bit more. And then when I do take off the shoulders, which is it's not much material. It's not gonna have deep grooves like it would if I did it with just 200 again. So 200 would be faster, but it would leave a lot more. It would make more of a disaster. So, all right. So I'll just do my left hand, which is worse. Just so you can see though. So left hand. Just try to mimic what your right hand is doing. So if you're right-handed, your right hand, or if you're right-handed, your right hand knows what it's doing, and then just when you switch off to left hand, just try to mimic it. And if you're left-handed, same thing, then your left hand knows what it's doing, and just try to mimic what your left hand is doing. All right, so I think this just basically gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. And also, last thing is you can actually, while you're grinding, if you have a nice flat surface, you can actually feel where there's parts that are wider than others. So like, let's say I'm grinding here and everything feels flat while I'm grinding. And then for this particular knife, when I hit this little area here, I can actually tell there's a bit of a bump, like just a bit of a bump right here. So that's another thing to look for. So I got to spend a little bit more time in this little area, and I think it's just the transition from me going super flat, super low, to then all of a sudden higher in this area. So it's created a bit of a bump here, and I'll just have to work that on a little bit more in this area than the rest. Okay, well, I hope this helps somebody. And then for this, once it's done, I'll just scoot it over, and then I scoot it over, and I just make sure I use everything so I don't waste anything. All right, well, bye.